After all this time, there is something that could solve the problem of these unenrolled kids in Baltimore County. What could that be? That could be a new federal law in the state of Maryland. Could that solve the huge issue of the state of Maryland and Baltimore County? Well, throughout the past few weeks, we've been showing you some examples of over 10,000 kids who are enrolled but have not shown up in school, according to the data. So, is there anything new going on? Here's Chris Papps.
Either you care about the taxpayer money and the kids, or you don't.
Carroll and Frederick County State Delegate April Rose believes Maryland has a problem regarding how public schools are funded.
Yes.
A problem, Rose says, she's been trying to fix for years with no success. But she's not giving up.
And I hope that we can move forward and get something done.
Rose tells Project Baltimore that during the upcoming 2026 legislative session in Annapolis, she plans to introduce a bill to adjust the formula for how public schools receive your tax dollars.
We know we have a lot of kids that are supposed to be in school, getting an education. They're not there. Nobody knows where they are. And I find that to be a real problem that needs to be solved.
Currently, under Maryland law, most of a school's funding is based on the number of students enrolled on one day, September 30th. That one count determines a school's funding the following year.
We keep funding based on that one snapshot. I think that's fiscally irresponsible, and it's not really serving our students.
Fox 45 News in 2021 began reporting on potential flaws in that process. At that time, using 2019 data, we reported schools received $92 million to educate students who were classified as whereabouts unknown, meaning the students went missing and the schools could not find them. Those initial reports convinced Rose to take action.
We must get this right for our kids and for our taxpayers.
Rose, in 2022, first introduced legislation to count enrollment in Maryland multiple times a year to ensure more accurate enrollment and funding totals.
Are there any questions from members of the Appropriations Committee for Delegate Rose?
But Rose's bill was largely ignored. It was not even brought up for a vote in the House Appropriations Committee. In 2023 and 2024, Rose tried again with the same result, with opposition coming from the teachers union, who has stated her legislation would increase administrative burdens to no apparent benefit.
The state of Maryland is dominated and run by the teachers union, and they don't want the bill. They don't want anything to happen, any legislation to pass that will possibly reduce funding.
In 2025, Rose did not submit her bill, but in 2026, she plans to try again.
Yes, I do.
Because as Project Baltimore reported last month, the problem has gotten worse. According to 2024 state data, the amount of taxpayer dollars that went to public schools to educate students whose whereabouts were unknown has reached an estimated $168 million.
Clearly, it needs to be fixed. And you have that many students missing and you're not doing anything to address that issue. I find that shocking and wrong.
Rose says she soon plans to contact State Superintendent of Schools Dr. Carrie Wright to help draft the legislation. Wright told Fox 45 News last month she's open to changing the funding formula.
I need to look into it a little bit more. I think it logically makes sense.
Other states, such as Florida, take enrollment twice a year in October and February to determine school funding. Wisconsin funds schools using a 3-year rolling enrollment average. California uses average daily attendance to calculate how much money a school receives. Fox 45 News will follow Rose's bill as it makes its way through the legislature in the 2026 session. and we'll keep you updated on any progress. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
We'll stay on this case, and in the future, Give Me a Break, we'll let you know what happens. So I think there's a problem going on in the state of Maryland with all these scandals that are going on, with minors being put on the sex offender registry list, taken on and put off for a year. You know, with all this stuff that's going on in Baltimore County, there needs to be some drastic changes. Not just how schools have gotten their tax dollars from the state of Maryland, but all the stuff, but the scandals, you know, the special needs scandals, all the scandals that we've been focused on throughout this broadcast. I mean, that's why the schools being put on the map, to put education back on the map. You know, education should be taken very seriously by me, because I take education very seriously. You know, you're required by the laws of your state to go to school every day unless there is a medical emergency or family emergency, or an approved absence by the school district. Like if you have to go to a funeral, then they'll understand. So we will keep you posted on the progress. Until that time, we will expose what will be exposed, like in this next story. The name Bob Minton may not be familiar to you, but he tried to expose Scientology. But when he turned, the worst would be yet to come. Would Scientology target Minton or not? You decide as John Hockenberry concludes The Crusader when we come back. Stay with us. Yesterday, I brought you the story of Bob Minton. Bob Minton might not be a familiar name to you, but if you are a member of the Church of Scientology or have heard of this story from years ago, you might remember him as the guy who tried to expose Scientology, and Scientology turning the tables on Bob Minton. He says there's something evil going on with Scientology. But he says when he tried to find out, Scientology turned on him. Now the Church of Scientology is turning the tables on him. But why? Again, John Hockenberry.
This is truly an organization whose so-called leaders have no shame whatsoever.
Bob Minton is now a crusader against the Church of Scientology, giving speeches, leading protests, in addition to giving money. His now very visible campaign against Scientology's tactics and money trail has, in effect, painted a bright target around himself.
You know who these folks are. I mean, they have unbelievable loyalty to the church. They sign billion-year contracts, and you've signed up to go against them all. Are you not?
A lot of people would question my sanity on that score.
But they would not question his resolve. Bob Minton says he wants to become for the Church of Scientology what Martin Luther was to the Catholic Church hundreds of years ago. He wants to lead a mass protest movement to reform Scientology, to allow free discussion, and to liberate Scientology's beleaguered critics. In fact, what burns Bob Minton up the most about Scientology is the length he says it goes to silence its critics.
He is probably as misinformed or uninformed about that as he is about everything else that he says about Scientologists. You know, there isn't and hasn't been any effort which has been taken to, quote, silence critics.
That's a claim that this former member of the church says is simply ridiculous.
When someone speaks out against Scientology, they're considered fair game. They can be lied to, tricked, cheated, anything to stop them.
Frank Oliver says he knows Scientologists will try to scare Bob Minton into shutting up because as a church intelligence officer, he used to do that kind of work himself.
The things that I saw and the people that I spoke to and the things that Scientology does, that's not known by the broad populace of Scientologists. I think it would frighten a lot of them if they knew what their religion was really about, if they knew how far they'll go to protect their religion.
Oliver's interview with Dateline is the first time he's spoken publicly since he left the church in disgust in 1992, following a summer in which he says he was recruited to investigate the Cult Awareness Network, a group that at the time was a declared enemy of the Church of Scientology.
Our stated purpose was to bring around the destruction of the Cult Awareness Network.
Oliver says church investigators follow critics, threaten them, talk to everyone they know, and hunt for dirt. If a critic like Bob Minton doesn't have actual crimes in his background, Oliver says the church takes minor transgressions and blows them up. In his words, take a scratch and make it into a broken arm.
They're looking for something criminal or something moral injustice, something, anything that can be taken and made into whatever they need it made into.
And that's straight from the writings of Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. The maxim is, when under attack, attack. He once wrote, "It is only those people that have crimes that will attack us, and they will soon back off for fear of being found out when attacked back."
That sounds a little paranoid. Mike?
Maybe so, John, but I
extremely disagree with you.
Well, I think that there's a difference between people who disagree and people who are on some sort of an active crusade or campaign to attempt to destroy the church.
Well, Ellen Hubbard here says the difference is that they are criminals, invariably. In their past are crimes.
Yeah, I think that that's true.
Now, he also says, try it on your next critic, finding their crimes. Like everything else in Scientology, it works.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like that's saying, go out and investigate your critics.
I think that you could characterize it that way, yeah. I think that looking into the motivation of people as to why it is that they are seeking to destroy the church is a valid thing to do.
There are plenty of critics of Scientology against whom the church takes no action. But the investigation of Robert Minton started last November, and it started with his family back in Tennessee.
He came in and he said, "I am David Lee," and handed me his card. "I'm an investigator, and I want to talk to you about Bob."
Carolyn Medvedeff is Bob Minton's aunt. She works as a receptionist in her husband's dental office. And when investigator David Lee, working on behalf of the church, just showed up one day in the office waiting room, she says he wasn't just asking for information, he was also giving it out.
He was just trying to say that Bob had been terrible to his mother, and that he thought Bob should help his mother and get off of the Scientology kick.
Lee then tracked down Bob's brothers, his father, his son from a previous marriage, and both of his ex-wives.
You know, these people don't have nice things to say about Bob Minton. His former wives talk about how he beat him up, and his son is pretty upset about how he was mistreated by his father.
Bob Minton denies beating his ex-wives, although his first wife told Dateline Bob hit her once. But there's no denying that Scientology has managed to stir up a lot of old animosities. For instance, Bob's son Rob says he's always had money issues with his father, but learning from a Scientology investigator that his dad spent $250,000 to buy some strangers a house was deeply upsetting. He told Dateline this was the last straw between him and his father.
The Church of Scientology destroys families. They know how to stir those issues up. You know, they clearly were trying to do the same types of things with the relationship between me and my son, which is clearly a button that they saw I was vulnerable on and would like to push.
And they pushed it.
And they did. His mother is upset about the fact that he's dishing off hundreds of thousands of dollars to people whom he doesn't even know, and yet she has a mortgage on her house, and he gives her a loan rather than gives her money.
Okay, a cynical view would say, if your investigator is going to Bob Minton's mom and saying, "Did you know he's giving money?"
Mm-hmm.
And she gets outraged, and that gets back to Bob, that sounds more like harassment to me.
Sounds more like an investigation to me. But certainly, let's put the shoe on the other foot for a minute. Bob Minton is going around to the media saying, "Did you know Scientologists do this? Did you know Scientologists do that?" You know, he characterizes that as free speech.
Well, it is free speech.
Well, certainly it's no different.
But Bob Minton says there's a significant difference. Scientology is a powerful organization that seeks out the powerless to stir up trouble. Bob's mother has severe emphysema and dementia, and Bob's Aunt Carolyn says the investigator took advantage of her, confusing her, putting words in her mouth and taking other statements out of context.
She has been in the hospital emergency twice since then. She's in a nursing home. It devastated her when she found out what David Lee did.
And Bob's current wife, Therese, says the church has brought its campaign right to her doorstep. Leaflets about Bob arrived on their daughter's birthday.
Which said what?
Oh, Bob's known as the Ku Klux Klan. He's a religious bigot. He's suppressing most unbelievable garbage.
Therese Minton says hate leaflets that church leaders deny having anything to do with also found their way to the family's vacation this past spring. On the beaches of the Caribbean, Minton was accused of having exploited the people of third world countries to make millions, of brutally beating his ex-wife, and of supporting a ring which includes wife beaters, child molesters, and a pornography editor. In fact, by this April, Minton says church investigators had managed to badmouth him to most of the people he had ever worked with or known, going back decades and on 4 continents.
It is pure and simple harassment. You know, they've tried to turn my family against me. They've tried to paint me as some insane person.
An associate of Minton says that investigators chillingly dropped hints that he was unstable, worried that Bob would suddenly walk into a church and begin shooting Scientologists.
These are not the types of things that one does when they're conducting a legitimate and ethical investigation. I don't know what motivates this guy. I don't know what. But on the other hand, if you ask me, do I know what motivated Timothy McVeigh to go blow up a building because his view is that the people sitting inside that building are violating the rights of citizens of the United States? I don't know why he does that. I don't know.
How you could have compared Bob Minton to Timothy McVeigh.
No, motivation. Like, what is it that motivates someone to do that? I don't know. I don't know how you tell someone does that before they do it.
All right, but you very deliberately compared Bob Minton to Timothy McVeigh.
All right. How you doing?
Minton says he has no plans to shoot or blow up anyone, but having to respond to such a charge at all is one sign of how completely his quiet life has changed. He decided to take on Scientology.
What would it take for you to walk away from this battle? The Church of Scientology would have to make some serious reforms.
But toward the end of producing this story, we learned that to our surprise, Mike Rinder and Bob Minton have now met twice to talk about Minton's concerns. Then the church sent Dateline several letters asking us to reconsider our story. Mike Rinder says Bob Minton may now have a whole new attitude about Scientology.
I think that he is learning things that he didn't know before, admittedly so, and that perhaps he is coming to the realization that some of these people that he has been dealing with have misled him.
But when Dateline talked to Bob Minton last Friday, he said he hasn't changed his mind at all about the church.
I'm still very much of the belief that the Church of Scientology hurts people, and I'm not changing my focus.
And the church doesn't seem terribly interested in Minton's efforts to reform it either.
It's also a sort of an arrogant view to think that because he has a lot of money to give to people, that he is going to somehow get us to change our religion. Why not?
Rinder told Dateline the church thinks it's unfair that the media constantly focuses on the claims of a few critics and ignores what it says are all the good things Scientology does.
The carping criticism or yapping things that happen over on the side get attention, and certainly they attract the attention of the media, but they're not really the story of what Scientology is.
Rinder also told Dateline he learned a few things about former Scientologist Frank Oliver, who, remember, told us just how seriously Scientology takes the investigation of its critics.
What can you tell me about Frank Oliver?
Well, I can tell you a couple of things. First,
Rinder then proceeded to make on camera a number of unsubstantiated charges against Oliver. But the only evidence of Oliver's run-ins with the law was this document, purporting to show the driving record of a Frank Oliver. Among some speeding tickets, it shows an improper lane change. So what does the future hold for Bob Minton? Mike Rinder says if Minton decides he's made a big mistake and walks away from his campaign against the church won't investigate him anymore. And if not,
I think ultimately that will come out that he's been engaged in criminal activities. Sure.
Can they shut you down, the church, through their tactics?
There have been emotional times that one really has to question how many punches you wish to take.
Can you take a lot more punches?
I think so. You know, I am setting an example to show people that this organization is not invulnerable to being criticized, that they cannot destroy everybody all the time who's willing to stand up to them.
Bob Minton says he wants to continue meeting with Scientology officials in the hope of convincing them to reform the movement. If that fails, he says he'll keep fighting and spending money to support the church's critics until his wife tells him to stop.
Yeah, imagine that happening. Honey, could you stop? Honey, could you stop spending our life savings on Scientology? About Scientology, you're never gonna win. Fuck you, Margaret! Oh no, I crossed the line. Let's rewind. Honey, you're spending our life savings on fighting the church. Could you please stop? Okay, honey, I will stop. There. That's how it should be. Not the whole slap in the face. Like, get the hell out of my house. That's just how it is, It's just how it is. Gotta give some time, gotta give it a little space. We'll give you the very latest on our second look next season. Alright. Real life crashes that could happen. Another John Hockenberry story you probably don't want to miss. And that story's next. Later, and still ahead, another crash test story. This time, you may want to buckle up. Stay with us. Welcome back. Here's a question. What would happen if there were no speed limits and everyone just started driving 100 miles per hour with no speed limit? There'd be a lot of car accidents and a lot of safety issues and a lot of traffic jams. And a lot of injuries and hospital bills. That's not always the case. We see it all in the movies and in the video games. But some video which you're about to see, they make it look like a video game. Who are these people? We'll let them tell you. Here's John Hockenberry.
It's one thing to dream of no speed limits and no traffic jams, as in these action video games.
The world is a racetrack, and they simply need a place to go.
One thing to imagine pavement with only fast lanes, as in the movie The Fast and the Furious. Move fast. Or these ads.
Fastest car.
I will always be involved in racing.
This is something else. It's no fantasy. These amateur videos obtained by Dateline were shot by passengers riding in cars pushing 120 miles an hour or more. Those are real commuters who can have no idea they are in a street racer's home movie in broad daylight on a highway around Washington, D.C. Communicating with a simple wave of the hand, flash of a turn signal, or perhaps even a wireless email offering to meet at a prearranged location, these racers turn public pavement into a private, death-defying joyride, with you as part of their realistic scenery.
Oh my God, we're gonna die!
Or in some cases, a fatal obstacle, as when a pedestrian was mowed down by street racers in Florida, a state where police say there's a fatal highway accident every 3 hours, with more and more of the crash scenes looking like this one. Little GTO, you really looking fine. You might say that what's going on here is reminiscent of the 60s muscle car grease monkey days of your father, but you'd be wrong. New technology has supercharged the old-fashioned hot rod. For not much money today, you can modify an inexpensive car called a tuner and create a virtual rocket.
But it's gotta be fast. Everything's gotta be fast.
A car that drives close to the way these virtual video game cars speed through imaginary streets, or in the movies. Except these streets are real, and unlike in some commercially available video games, you don't get points for breaking the law, except perhaps in your own mind.
I need to do it. I need to race.
He's not one of the racers from the Washington, D.C. area. Greg Leone does his driving on the streets of Southern California. a state where the number of tickets for driving over 100 miles an hour has tripled in the last decade.
Do you ever go the speed limit? Not really.
Greg is 27 years old and lives with his mother, working every day to find just the right component with the right adjustment to make his car fly.
It's easy to buy power. Couple grand, $2,000. I can make my car 300, 400 horsepower. Easy.
Easy. Like a guy sticking a speedometer needle all the way to the right, topping out accelerator at the max.
This whole thing that's happening on the street, it's bigger than the video games. It's bigger than anything.
And it's lining Sean Murphy's pockets. His company, Techademics in Southern California, caters to the next generation of Greg Leones, who have ready cash, a driver's license, and are looking for a high-res upgrade to the video games they've played and the racing movies they've seen.
Right now, there's 10,000 kids getting their driver's licenses that have watched Fast and the Furious that are ready to go.
Hardworking kids who supply racing home video to Sean. Techademics is a welcome market for a network of fast drivers with cameras on the dash. The company strings together clips it obtains for its hottest-selling product, the Mischief line of street racing movies. There's Mischief, Mischief Destroyed, Mischief 3000, and of course, the Girls of Mischief. Mischief, which apparently means as long as you have a disclaimer at the top, when it comes to cars, nearly anything goes.
It's something that an average person can sit down and watch and get that feeling of, oh my God, this is what it's like
To break the law.
Well, you know, a lot of it's breaking the law. This is what it's like to get sideways.
That's right, getting sideways. Think parallel parking with a heavy dose of burned rubber.
Getting sideways is a technical racing maneuver, actually.
So you get sideways maybe once a day.
If you have a 350 horsepower car and you don't get sideways every once in a while, you should be shot. You know, I mean, this is Americana.
But parking lot stunts are not the problem. It's high-powered anarchy on the streets and interstates.
Do the cops have any idea this is going on?
I think the cops are scared, and I think the cops are a little angry.
Are we scared? No. Are we angry? Yes.
But the Florida Highway Patrol isn't just getting mad at street racers. They're getting even, under the hood anyway, by deploying new, unmarked, high-performance vehicles like this Black Mercury Marauder, capable of speeds near 140 miles an hour. Designed to track down racers on the interstates. Those they catch could face jail time. But the cops concede they still can't really compete with a small-engine tuner car hopped up with exotic modifications that can push the engine to warp speed.
What does an accident scene at those kind of speeds look like?
It's horrific. You get out there, sometimes these cars are completely disintegrated. Disintegrated.
Florida State Trooper Lieutenant Julio Pajon has visited too many of these accident sites, like the one last year, in which a 16-year-old driver challenged to race by two other cars, lost control and slammed into a concrete light pole. Injury and death, Pajon worries, are the only reality checks for speed-addled racers.
That's one way to pass somebody.
So they're living in their own video game on real interstates with real everyday drivers.
In many cases they are.
And are the lines blurred even more by car ads like this that fuse what's real and what's not?
Don't let the needle-pushing T5 turbo performance mess with your mind.
These people see that and they want to have the same thing, and it doesn't work. Because in real life, you don't have a reset button in your car. You can't reset life. Once you crash, you die. That's it. It's over. Game is over.
Pajon thinks it's almost impossible to convince young drivers who have experienced the thrill of racing to stop. His hope, talking to parents. It's an approach which might not get very far with Greg Leone's mom, who has hit triple digits on the speedometer with her son at the wheel.
Do you worry with this culture of street racing and the kinds of risks that people take that your son's going to end up in some driver's ed movie one of these days? 150 miles an hour, that's pretty ugly and unforgiving.
I have a friend whose son died in a plane. He teaches flying, he loves flying since he was a little boy. And you know what she said? He died doing what he loved to do. And these like I say, this is the passion
A passion that fuels the search for more street thrills, apparently.
What's canyon racing? That's the next evolution of street racing.
You're scaring me a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Picture this. Empty canyon road. Just windy roads for days. Probably 100 or more cars parked at the top of this mountain pass. And in groups, they head down the mountain pass. And there's like 300-foot cliffs.
And these are the windiest roads with the least margin for error.
Exactly.
And that's, to me, is probably a little more dangerous than the stuff on the freeways, because there's families on, their weekend vacations, cruising through the canyon. Then here comes 80 import cars on a drift mission. We haven't filmed any of this stuff yet, but we probably should.
That's fine. We get the picture. The only antidote to street racing that racers and cops agree on is to provide legal races on sanctioned tracks. But there are very few of those open to the public. And in a world awash in fast cars, hot movies, and even hotter home racing videos, it's hard to imagine how the street racing genie is going to be put back in the bottle.
How do we do this? How can we get back into the mind of a child and say, hey, this is going to hurt you, We scare them straight. Take away their license. Take away the cars. Don't just talk to your child about this. Take away the license. I mean, that's why we're giving police a break, because, the tickets aren't helping. They look at that piece of paper, they look at that ticket as a worthless piece of paper saying, it don't matter, I'm going to go do it again. Now that your parents bitching about you behind your back. Mason, I don't want you speed racing because I'm afraid for your life. Shut up, Mom! I can speed race whatever the hell I want. I don't want you. I don't need you getting in my life anymore. Fuck you, bitch. It's the way it is, Your parents care about you. What you see in these commercials is not real. It can happen in an instant. That's why I don't drive, because I don't want my car being all tuned up to high speeds, and all of a sudden, I end up in an accident or in a driver's education movie. This is the key here. Take away the license, put him in driver's ed, and then he gets the license back. Points. You can't just buy away our points. Remember the story we saw about traffic school? It's a big joke to most people. You sit there for that, in most cases in all classes, you sit there for 6 hours learning about the rules of the road. A lot of times, sometimes you'd sit there for 90 minutes watching videos, and then all of a sudden, okay, here's some paperwork, you're good to go, and then you just buy away, okay, here's $100, I want out of class. That's not the way shit goes, motherfucker. And believe me, I never got in an accident before, I never drive, but believe me, I've seen it all in the movies. Fast and Furious, Grand Theft Auto, Simpsons Hit and Run, Need for Speed. My brother played Need for Speed, and I knew exactly how it happened. And if you don't believe me, we'll play we'll play some racing games. We'll play some racing games right now, and I can prove you wrong that that's a video game. But we're not going to do that. We still got more show to do. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Could you be sued over a receipt paper? You ran a receipt paper. I'm gonna take you to court. There's a chemical in these receipt papers. I'm gonna blindfold and tie your motherfucking ass and drive you down and kidnap you and drive you down all the way to motherfucking court for the motherfucking judge. Ow, my hand. Come on, Chris, help me out here. I told you, Chris, I told you to take my mouth shut, and I told you to pick me. Come on. Listen, Lamb, open the door. Okay. Come on, Chris, help me out here, man. Yeah. Knock him out, man. Ready to go? Okay. Let's drive. Sorry. The scene from The Big Bang Theory got me thinking about this joke. But in all seriousness, in San Diego, there are lawsuits happening because of a chemical found in the receipt paper. Now, how can that be? Take a look.
It's more and more difficult to do business in California because it's always something.
These little rolls of paper are turning into a big headache for Adam Zach.
Could be devastating. It really would almost make you think, like, do I want to be doing business here?
We're gonna need the receipt. The owner of Jensen's in Point Loma never imagined being threatened with a lawsuit over receipt paper. But that's exactly what happened in May when he got this letter. The Prop 65 violation notice is an intent to sue and claims his grocery store receipts have a toxic chemical known as BPS.
BPS is almost like an invisible ink. It's the chemical that makes words appear on thermal receipt paper. The problem, it can rub off on your hands, and California has linked it to cancer and reproductive issues.
And the boxes say BPS, BPA free, and so we feel we're in compliance.
Zach, whose store sells many organic products, says his supplier has assured him that Jensen's paper is BPS free. He's speaking out to warn other business owners.
We feel strong about taking a stand.
Team 10 found since January the internal law firm has sent more than 600 Prop 65 notices. Felipe's Pizza, Swami's, and Better Buzz have all been served. So too have bigger chains like Ralph's and In-N-Out.
A lot of companies were caught off guard by this.
Attorney Mike Gleason defends businesses accused of violating Prop 65. The state law requires stores to warn consumers before they could be exposed to over 900 toxic chemicals. The list includes everything from ingredients in common household products to some food and dyes. Businesses that violate the law face up to $2,500 a day in fines. And get this, California allows private parties to enforce Prop 65 through civil lawsuits.
Who are these private enforcers?
They can be an individual, they can be a nonprofit, it really can be anybody looking to enforce Proposition 65.
If you were to take a case to trial and try to fight it, you're a small business owner, you're like, I want to fight this out of principle, how much could that cost you?
It could cost $200,000 to $300,000 depending on the fight.
This small business owner got hit with a Prop 65 notice earlier this year.
I honestly thought it was like a scandal. Because we were getting like so many letters in the mail.
But the letter was real, leaving the entrepreneur who asked us to conceal their identity stunned.
Why are you scared of your identity being known?
I'm really scared about it being known because I feel that this attorney will come after me in the court.
Like Jensen's, the business owner's supplier confirmed their paper doesn't have BPS. But the law firm, which sent the intent to sue on behalf of environmental health advocates, claimed their testing showed otherwise.
Facing the threat of a lawsuit, what could that do to your bottom line?
It could totally wipe us out. I mean, it could do this now that we could settle outside of court for no less than $20,000.
I wanted to learn more about environmental health advocates, but I couldn't find a website for the corporation. So I turned to the state and pulled business licensing records. Those revealed the CEO of EHA is La Jolla attorney Alan Cate.
Plaintiff went to the defendant's restaurant and tried to eat a meal there. Plaintiff encountered access barriers.
This is video Team 10 took of Cate in 2017 when he was representing Dwight Banks, who alleged a restaurant failed to have accessible seating. A judge threw that case out, ruling there was no violation of ADA law, while noting Banks wasn't honest about the enormous number of lawsuits he had filed. And while there's no website, Environmental Health Advocates does have an address registered with the state. It's in this office building on Broadway and happens to be the same address as the internal law firm. I went inside to try to get answers. Shortly after leaving, I got an email from attorney Noam Glick. He's the lawyer who's been signing those letters. Glick tells Team 10 for years, restaurants and retailers have been exposing their customers to BPS. He says after it became an enforceable chemical last December, environmental health advocates sent receipts out for testing. Quote, to comply with the law, retailers should be testing their own receipts to confirm they are indeed BPS-free. Whether retailers or suppliers are pointing fingers at each other is between them. Through EHA's efforts, the issue will be resolved, and receipt paper will no longer pose a threat to reproductive health. Team 10 has learned some businesses are resolving the allegations by settling. State records show women's clothing store Princess Polly agreed to pay $18,000 to environmental health advocates for attorney fees and costs. The store also agreed to pay another $2,000 in state civil penalties. Of that fine, $500 will go directly to environmental health advocates.
Gleason says there are steps businesses can take to protect themselves, including putting up clear Prop 65 warnings.
Probably the safest way is to be right at the point of where the cash register might be.
As for Kate, he didn't return my request for comment, but Glick says EHA's focus is on public health. The small business owner disagrees.
Did the law firm ever give you an opportunity to correct the problem?
Back at Jensen's, Zach plans to fight.
We're not in the wrong, and we don't want to settle.
Taking a stand when others are settling. Austin Grabish, Team 10.
Austin is a government watchdog. He also covers the California Medical Board, military investigations, and the border. Send him your stories by scanning the QR code on your screen or emailing him at austin.grabish@10news.com.
Here's what I think of this. It needs to stop. All of it needs to stop. I mean, what are you going to do? Sue me for paper? Dangerous paper? It's just a little piece of ink. That's just what it is, you know? Let's take it easy here. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Your taxes and your safety. What is it got to do with the election that's coming up in November? As we're about to show you, there are some things that can happen in Oasis County that could affect you. Here's Michaela Chavez.
Let's start with bail reform. Right now, even serious felonies often qualify for bail, unless there are specific disqualifying factors. Under the proposal, judges would have to deny bail in some cases involving serious felonies, including the ones you see on your screen. One argument for the change is that it could keep violent offenders off the streets while they await trial.
Unfortunately, there have been past and will be again times when people facing their fellow citizens' judgment go out and reoffend.
District Attorney James Granberry says it would also give their office and judges more tools to review evidence and look into past behavior, like signs of violence or patterns of risk. But he says the proposal also has a financial trade-off.
It costs the community $85 a day for everybody that's incarcerated in the Oasis County Jail. We're almost at capacity.
When the jail fills up, the county has to pay to transport people to other facilities.
We just have to be aware that when we have people in jail, it is an expense to the taxpayers to keep them there. We try to move them through the system as fast as we can.
They try to move them as fast as they can, but in the past, that was a problem. Back in March, I told you there was a shortage of prosecutors.
Now, I think we have 82 murder cases that are pending trial.
I got an update on their staffing.
We've managed to hire, we've got 5 young lawyers that are straight out of law school.
But now they need to keep them, and that takes money.
Nobody likes paying their property taxes. I don't like paying my property taxes.
Property taxes fund county services, including the DA's office.
If you want safe streets, if you want good prosecution, if you want us to have the capacity to do the things that we need to do.
If the proposals don't pass, Granberry says they'll keep pushing with what they have.
Well, if neither passes, then it's, you know, it's doing what we're doing right now. We're just battling a little harder.
But if they do pass, he says it could make a real difference for not just their office, but for you too.
This isn't an easy job, and so we have to pay them what they're worth. And so I guess it comes down to how bad do you want to be safe.
Early voting runs from October 20th through October 31st, with Election Day being on Tuesday, November 4th. With your neighborhood news downtown, I'm your Sunrise reporter, Michaela Chavez at Chrisic Sunrise.
We'll see what happens. We'll follow the story and we'll let you know what happens. Here's John Stossel with a myth with better homes, better cars, and longer lives.
At Wayfair, we bring style to every get-together. Oh, they brought wings.
Have you heard how young people suffer today?
I scream at the top of my lungs.
Social media is filled with videos that say,
younger generations are finding it harder and harder to get reliable jobs, afford comfortable homes, start a family.
We baby boomers had things so much easier.
Your father could somehow afford a house, a car, and also put multiple kids through college.
Right.
And now it's damn near impossible for normal people to get ahead financially or shoot, even own a home.
This meme gets millions of views. Once upon a time, meaning when I was a kid, a family could own a home, a car, and send their kids to college, all on one income. This meme is all over the internet. People believe it.
And that's really a fantasy?
Economist Norbert Michel. It's not true?
No, it seems really great to think that everything was so awesome back then, but it wasn't. Materially, we are so much better off now than we were in the 60s and 70s.
Well, young people get clicks asking, what's the point of working?
You can't even live in a house. Most people don't live in houses because it's too expensive.
That's just a factual mistake.
Census data show more Americans own homes today than did when I was a kid.
People are still buying homes, but it's just far more expensive for them to be buying homes.
Progressives like Columbia professor Jeremy Ney here giving a TED talk about how inequality is a matter of life and death. Say the meme is right on. This is correct.
That is correct.
But it's misleading. Houses are more expensive today, but they're bigger and nicer.
The homes that we're buying now are not the homes that people were buying in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
4-bed, 3-bath with a 2-car garage.
We have bigger homes, better equipped homes.
Modern homes are much bigger than homes were when I was a kid. They're twice as likely to have central air, dishwashers, garbage disposals. Almost all homes now have washers and dryers. They didn't used to. The popular meme doesn't mention that. Homes were cheaper then because they're what people today call lousy homes.
The costs are still 10, 20 times higher.
No, they're not. Not if you adjust for inflation. Plus,
we spend a smaller share of our income on food, clothing, and housing than we did.
Here's the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Americans now spend less of our money on food, clothing, and shelter.
We have a lot more things, and we don't have to work as hard to get them.
When I was a kid, few people lived like people do now.
Now it's the norm to go out for lunch. It's the norm to go out for dinner, or to order in, or to get Uber Eats.
My family never went out to eat.
People didn't have enough money.
Also, back then, families didn't fly places for vacation because flying cost so much more. Adjusted for inflation, a cross-country flight cost more than $1,000. Now it's about $300.
People did not just go on vacation. People did not fly all across the country.
But TikTokers say we young people have it so much tougher.
Hard work is not enough to make it anymore.
The game changed on the younger generation, right? Hard work alone is not enough because the debt is stacked against so many folks.
The idea that nobody had to work hard, that everybody had job security, whereas opposed to now nobody does, is absolutely ridiculous. My dad would have laughed at that, and he should have. Income is definitely higher, jobs are more plentiful, opportunities are more plentiful.
The job offer in under 30 minutes.
Unemployment today is half what it was. When I was a young reporter,
I got a college degree.
back to that meme which says, a family then could afford to send their kids to college. Well, college was much cheaper then. But even so,
Most people didn't go to college. Roughly half of the labor force didn't even finish high school. That's unheard of nowadays.
finally, yes, a family could own a car, but it was nothing like today's cars.
American cars were so absolutely and unutterably awful.
They rusted quickly, and now cars last more than twice as long. Nate tweets that jobs that once provided high school grads with middle-class stability now offer poverty wages. But overall, Gen Z does better. The Economist points out that Gen Z incomes are 50% higher than what we baby boomers are. Still, this woman gets hundreds of thousands of likes saying,
And Z is the first generation where they're same age as their parents, they're making less money, not more.
no, they aren't. And it's not just progressives who spout these myths.
Families in the old days, they saved money. We don't have a great country anymore.
We're gonna go back to the old days.
Why do people put out this misinformation?
Politically, it sells. And it makes it really easy for a politician to say, I'm going to fix it. We always have a tendency to believe in the things that are wrong and that are bad. And that's unfortunate because overall, most people have been doing much, much better.
To counter the misinformation, Stossel TV created a more accurate meme. Once upon a time, a family who never ate out could afford a smaller home, a car that didn't last long, and they didn't send their kids to college, all on one income.
And they all lived happily ever after in the gravestone. The end. We're going to take a break and come back. Stay with us. Let's play a game called What's Corbin Up To Now? If you have not seen his videos, he likes to prank his parents. He put a jumbotron in the kitchen. He replaced his parents' couches. He put shit in his houses, the parents' houses, and Dad loves it and Mom doesn't. But Mom actually loves the keg of wine. Take a look at this.
Putting a wine gas pump in my parents'
A few
house.
weeks ago, I made my dad a whiskey gas pump, but my mom did not like it. So to make up for it, I made her own gas pump filled with wine.
What are you doing?
You see what this is?
A wine dispenser? Honestly, I've had a really long week. Yeah, I could use this.
I'm glad you love it. Grab a wine glass. Oh, look at that.
I need a bigger wine glass. That's how your dad always wants to keep the stupid shit. We're keeping this and we're gonna keep filling it up. How your dad's always calling his friends? Well, tonight's a wine night. I'm gonna call my friends. We're having wine tonight. Nobody's always posting stupid shit. I'm posting this.
Oh,
Yeah.
smiling.
Oh, yeah.
Where's my glass?
No, nothing for you.
Ooh, I didn't know it was coming out hot.
You have to make a fucking mess. You can think
This
without
is my
making
first time using a wine pump. Knew that happiness wasn't gonna last.
Because you get involved. If you did more cool things like this, I wouldn't be so pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
Think of me.
Oh, he thinks of me. Oh, or to just keep you happy and not make you mad all the time. Not easy.
Replacing my parents, turning my parents,
Domino's?
putting a,
How about this one?
replacing my parents' couch with church pews.
My parents have been falling off track too much recently, so to help straighten everything out, I got us some church pews.
It's about time you brought some church pews in here. This house has needed Jesus for a while. I feel like I'm a little underdressed. But boy, man, you don't have any hymnals? Where's the hymnals? They should have made these double decker. That would have been sweet. I hope you called in a preacher, because your mom's gonna need this. Don't do it quick! Don't even...
Whoa!
You need to go back to church.
You need to go to a real church.
Yo, real church.
Where do you even get this shit from?
Hey, these are good quality cake.
Don't tell me what I freaking need.
Replacing my parents' couch with church pews.
My parents...
Replacing my parents' couch with movie theater
Since
seats.
it's fall, my parents are spending a lot more time inside watching movies, so I figured I'd give them the full experience and buy them movie theater seats.
Oh shit! Come on, man. You got cup holders and there's not a beer cracked in it for me already? Ooh, these are nice. Your mom gonna finish that Ed Gein show. That guy's a fucking fucking weirdo. I'm gonna make your mom sit in front of me and I'm gonna kick the shoes all the time. Hey, look at my shoes. I think she's really gonna let me sit behind her when we're watching Egg Beans. She's gonna have a family movie night. We'll charge everybody $5 to get in. You gotta be business minded like me. You know what you're lacking? A popcorn machine, dude. Need some Raisinets and some milk duds.
Come on, If you want to sit in movie theater seats, go to the freaking movie theater. Why is there popcorn everywhere? Are you fine?
It's like a movie theater.
Your dad? That's probably what it was, wasn't it?
No.
Bullshit. Go stick up for him. Where did you pull this from? The 1980s? Like, they're not even nice seats. This is so fucking stupid. It's so fucking recording.
Replacing my...
How about this one?
Replacing my parents' couch with a gorilla couch.
My parents' furniture is looking a little old and out of style, so to spice things up, I bought them a freaking gorilla couch.
Oh, shit. Oh, that is sick, dude. How durable is that? Huh?
Go give it a shot.
Whoa. Ooh, can't call me. Shit on me.
I know, right?
Dude, this is my throat. I can do without these little pleasant nips. Is that a gold chain
Yeah,
for
he's
boy?
got it.
Oh yeah, he's big pimpin' now.
What the fuck? What the actual fucking fuck, Corbin? And then watching you sit there and fucking love it.
Everybody calm down. Go give it a shot.
I'm not gonna give it a shot.
Come on.
You're in a chain?
We're twinning, girl.
Come on, admit this is cool. Admit this is cool.
For a 12-year-old's bedroom?
See? Look at you. Aren't you happy?
I'm not happy. First of all, it's gross to sit on here.
No, it's not real. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Come on,
Stop.
Replace...
And how about, turn your parents to a fucking
Turning
bowling
my
alley?
parents' living room into a bowling alley.
Recently, my family's been playing a lot of Wii bowling, and I figured I'd put our real skills to the test and put a bowling alley inside the house.
Oh, you're fucked up. Glad you bought this table, man. Because this is where your bitch ass gonna be sitting when I bowl 300. Give me the bowl ball. This is more fucking.
Yeah. You want to put a bowling ball through the wall?
If I get this, you owe me a beer. Fuck, I thought these things were slippery. Did you fucking steal this out of that abandoned building? Did have bowling night tonight. Every time somebody gets a strike, we shotgun a beer. Is that not fucking a great idea?
Fucking bowling alley?
Yeah.
What's wrong with playing on the Wii? Like, why did you have to, build it in my freaking house?
You get a strike, I'll give you $100.
This is what you're using as a bowling ball.
What are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
It's like having 10 little kids living here. While constantly cleaning up after
You were just smiling, Mom.
No, I wasn't.
What are you doing?
Turning my parents' living room into...
Okay. I think you probably get the fucking picture here. So here's a lesson we learned. Don't fuck your parents' shit. How about this one?
Putting a hot dog cart in my parents'
It
house.
is prime time hot dog season, but hot dogs can get pretty expensive, so I decided to open up my own hot dog cart, but make them completely free.
Oh, fuck yeah. Book me up right now. You're a genius, man. This is the greatest thing ever. Mustard and ketchup? Come on, man. Where's the relish? That roller is the shit. We're keeping that roller.
You're already eating?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
Hold on until you tried it. You're going to get a summer job, and look at he's making hot dogs.
And selling it to who? Everybody that lives here?
I don't know, but they're delicious.
Aren't they good? Let's give it a shot.
You want a hot dog?
No, I don't want a hot dog.
Look here.
I'm not gonna eat anything that can make me again.
This one's on me.
Oh, so I'm gonna pay you for
Here, you gotta put some
hot dog.
condiments on there. Be helpful.
Oh, you're being helpful. How about you want?
Whoa, hey.
Oh, that was not so funny. Why don't you take this and go make some money? Why don't you help him promote it? Because you gotta get the fuck out.
They're delicious. We can sell
So both of
them.
you go sell it.
Yeah.
You two are just a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah, says the person with no hot dog.
Putting a hot dog cart in my parents'
They put no hot dogs. That loco. Or how about a bunk bed?
Replacing my parents' couch with a bunk
My
bed.
parents are always falling asleep on the couch, but the couch isn't the comfiest thing, so I figured I'd upgrade them to a 5-star bunk bed.
I fuck with this. I'm the one that's always got to sleep on the couch, so this is perfect for me. I'm gonna sleep on that top bunk though, because I ain't no bottom. Your mom don't like you. Who gives a shit? This is my way to get back up in the bedroom. Don't like it? She's just gonna have too sad. Watch your stupid what's that show she freaking watches? That Vanderpump Rules. What she gonna watch that shit on the bunk bed? Like guacamole? Or we gotta be a bunk bed? I need more pillows, man.
fucking kidding me? Where the fuck are you gonna put Buffett? Well, you didn't even put a mattress on it.
Yeah, I did. It's a
Yeah, you lay on it so you fall through.
I laid on it.
Of course he did. Oh, how exciting! Buffett jumped from one to another.
Replacing my parents' couch with...
Don't piss off your parents. Don't fuck with their shit. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble. That's all for this edition of Game Break Wednesday going to Thursday. We're off on Friday, but we'll see you again for Game Break Monday. Follow us here at YouTube and Give Me a Break. Stop bullying, speak up, concentration not straight. No jaywalking. Take care of yourself and each other. Good night.